Deadman Radio.
Radio.
It's like sex for my ears.
Hey, what's up, man?
Yeah, dude. Hey, man. Sorry, guys. I somehow managed to not have this up.
Oh, you're good, dude. You're good, dude. What's up?
Just putting away a little shoot that I did right here on the crapper.
That's the best place to do it.
Yeah, it was for a read for Hello Tushy, which is my favorite product that I've ever promoted. It's this like bidet. It just like power pressure cleans your asshole. It's the best.
You know,
400 psi right up the butt.
Yeah. No,
Dude, it's incredible.
that's great. I gotta say,
Okay,
man.
so you go ahead.
Oh, go ahead. Get adjusted, man. You're good.
Oh, I was just, I don't know if you guys are comfortable recording like this. That's cool. I can settle down here momentarily.
Yeah, take your time, man.
All right.
How's the weather down there?
It's pretty hot. Where are you guys at?
Washington.
Washington State?
Yeah.
Okay.
Dude.
Is that not unbearably hot?
No.
It's not too terrible right now. It's probably, I don't know, 70s over here. You're a little bit north of me, Tick.
Yeah.
About-
I'm like my butt is up against the Canadian border.
Right. Okay. All right, man. I can leave right there.
Sweet.
Nice. Okay, so we were just waiting for you to get cozy and we can officially start. Thank you, real quick though, before we start, Steveo, thanks for having the time in your busy life to hang out with us randos for just a good hot minute.
Cool, man. Well, as I said in the email response, thank you guys for watching my YouTube videos, and you said you ordered my book and the signed print. That was
Check this out.
very
Check that out.
cool, man.
Yeah.
I love evidence that our orders are fulfilled quickly, and it reminds me too that just yesterday we went into negative numbers on the prints. I got to sign more.
Oh man. Well, I mean, I guess.
Whatever.
Buy them,
They load them up. I'll get it done. They'll be out in no time. That probably got to you within like 2 days, huh?
Holy crap.
For some reason the sauce and the book I haven't gotten quite yet though. I was hoping.
Okay, how about that? All right.
Yeah, but it's okay. It'll be worth it. I was just hoping to read the whole thing before we talk to you.
Oh, dude, not to worry, man. It's a fucking wild ass book, and as much as I appreciate you doing diligent research, it's not terribly necessary.
Oh, it's more than that. So we'll start the show here on Deadman Radio. Thank you for tuning in, and everybody out there. We have a legend, a very genuinely awesome dude on the show today. Normally we keep it spooky in the Northwest, but we have a sub-genre for Steveo as a thriller and a suspense killer. So it was just a perfect excuse to get you on the show, Steveo. So thank you. When I talk to people about your podcast, if anyone's starting podcast, I actually bring yours up. And the reason why is because you started with Tony Hawk and you had some stuff to work out where you were talking about yourself a little bit. And then you went from that to, Eric Andre recently. And you've really seen your progress as someone who's working with podcasts. So it's actually genuine. It's a very genuine thing to see you get passionate and excited about your podcast.
Hey, man. I appreciate that a lot. And I thought I was getting into the podcast game to promote tours, to, build up, my audience, to sell ad reads. And I quickly learned that actually what it's best for is for, kind of developing my abilities to communicate and listen and you'd be less of a less of a self-absorbed asshole.
That's so good. I mean, but you see it, and you really do see the progress, and you genuinely care. But the thing is, you get so excited, and I love that about you, is you get so excited about what you're talking about and very passionate that you have to kind of stop and be like, right. There's other people here,
Right.
Yeah. So
Yeah, but it's all good, man, and I appreciate that. So you guys, you said that you do podcasts, and this is also Deadman Radio on some FM.
Yeah, it's KOUV. It's out of Tacoma, but we're running from up here in Bellingham. So we got about 10 to 20,000 listeners altogether for the last 15 years. So definitely worth your time.
Cool, man. Yeah, I dig that, dude. I dig that. And it's very specific on horror.
Yeah.
And as I'm sure you saw in the email response, I'm like, I just don't care about horror.
Yeah,
but I've thought about it just since we got on this call, and it did occur to me that like an icon of the horror the genre is a guy you would have to have heard of named Tony Gardner. He's like a special effects dude. Like he's created every badass thing in horror,
Oh, wow.
I mean, I really, if you like, Tony Gardner is badass, and he's notable as well for turning Johnny Knoxville into Bad Grandpa.
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And also, I mean, all the Chucky stuff, and like you name it. Like Tony Gardner's done all the special effects for horror.
That's fucking
And
sick.
I went to him not long ago to get a mold made out of my head so that I could build my own special custom helmet, which would isolate just my ear, leaving it out to be beaten up, while protecting my head so that I could do funny things to try to get cauliflower ear.
I saw that. You were talking with John Jones about that, how you really wanted, like, don't mess with someone that's got a cauliflower ear.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
That's
I used to wrestle in high school and junior high, man. Cauliflower ear is no fun, dude. Getting that ear rubbed around and everything on the mats or someone's elbow. Ugh. Still burns me up.
Do you have cauliflower ear?
No, luckily I got a couple. I don't have anything serious or anything, but just getting your face rubbed across the mat, and then when the headgear rubs your ear just the wrong way. I did it throughout junior and high school, but there was a bunch of other kids that did get it pretty bad because I think it was just maybe at the higher weight classes when you get the clash of the titans hitting each other and just all that weight coming down on the side.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, dude, I've gone to ridiculous lengths to try to get it, and it seems that I fall into a rare category of individual who just isn't susceptible to it.
Huh.
Oh, so you just gotta try harder, Steveo.
Right. I mean, that's what. I mean, yeah. There's nothing much left I can think of to do it. I went through like MMA legends first with Chuck Liddell, and then Ronda Rousey, Jorge Masvidal, and then the greatest to ever do it, John Jones. And by the time I got to John Jones, we're just like straight whacking my ear with a hammer.
Oh God, dang, dude.
I actually lost a piece of my ear.
Oh. Like anti-cauliflower ear.
And John Jones saved the piece.
Yes. Yeah. So
Yeah,
he's got that little. Go ahead.
Yeah, he really Evander Holyfield me.
That's great. On that note, too, I saw there's so many questions I have because some of the stuff you talked about died off. You had me so intrigued with you getting breast implants. Where are you going with that?
That's something that imagine I will end up doing. But it's just like way down the line.
Okay.
Right now, I've got a project which I'm like imminently releasing in the next couple of weeks. It's called Gnarly, and it's this multimedia comedy special where I tell these crazy stories, and all the footage of the stories happening is mixed into the stand-up. So it's sort of like my world's colliding in this great multimedia mix of stunts and comedy. And I just think it came out so fucking great. It's the best thing I've ever done.
Oh, I can't wait.
Yeah, dude.
And then my follow-up to that will be the bucket list.
Right.
Which will have like the trying to get cauliflower ear. It'll have like the vasectomy Olympics,
I
jacking
love
off while I fall out of the airplane. All that. Yeah, the bucket list is pretty loaded. And then after the bucket list, then the project after that, I picture being called Steveo's Gone Too Far, where it's like everything I do for that is like legitimately just purely ideas that everybody who hears them tries to talk me out of doing it.
Oh,
like breast implants. Like, it's incredible, like the aggressive nature of the people trying to persuade me not to get breast augmentation surgery.
Really?
And they don't know. All these people have no idea that when they say that, and when the more passionately they try to talk me out of it, the more they're confirming for me that it's an awesome idea. The more they're making me want to do it, because the whole point is to go too far. Like, the whole point is to do these things that are way too fucking far.
That's literally the title of it.
Right. So yeah, I mean, that kind of boxes me into a corner where it's like, all right, what am I going to do after that? But I was pretty sure that the bucket list boxed me into a corner. So at least like I can just keep moving the goalposts.
Yeah, I love it, dude. Who is someone that has been really trying to talk you out? Of anyone that maybe people outside know? Like, I can't see Knoxville really being too like.
Yeah, Knoxville doesn't care.
Yeah.
And those guys, yeah.
I feel like they'd be jaded.
None of my Jackass guys care too much. I guess just like my non-entertainment buddies. I don't know that anybody really notable, who you guys would be aware of.
Sure. So maybe just like close family or Mrs.
Yeah.
I don't know if your lady's like, don't do it.
My girl's not in love with the idea, but she's not that aggressive against it. Plus, like, as ridiculous as it is to get breast implants, like, at a certain point, I'll get them out. I'm not trying to keep them forever.
Yeah.
If anything, it's more of an exercise in seeing how long I last with them before getting them removed.
Yeah, you were talking about, like, you actually put like psychological thought into it. You were like, at one point you were like, what if I get attached? Like,
I don't know that I would get attached. I think that's more for like the dick I intend to get tattooed, on my forehead.
Oh God, yeah.
Oh man,
you're wild, man. I love it, man. You're great. Yeah. When is Gnarly coming out to the public? Is that something that's still
like I built a player into my own website, which was a little bit of an undertaking, and we've already been like testing it, like with first family and friends, and then like small groups of emails from my online store. So it's creeping out there, but not in a public fashion. It's going out via private emails right now. I'm also doing like, I set up this community app where where all the celebrities say text me, collecting a database of cell phone numbers, and that'll be next. So
Nice.
the people who text me on the community app will be the next to see it after the email list. And then when it will actually be public, I imagine realistically probably like 2 weeks from now.
Okay.
Oh, damn, that's
Cool.
exciting, man. That's
Yeah.
so innovative, Steve-O. I admire you so much for like getting your hand in so many cool things, and like even when this pandemic is like going nuts, you're not letting it stop you, and that's fucking really inspirational, man. Like I can't express it without like fangirling, you know. Like,
Oh, hey man, I appreciate it, dude. You know,
It's,
there was a lot of cool stuff going on, and it got shut down by the coronavirus. But yeah, fortunately, that was right when I launched the podcast, and like in the midst of the work I was doing on the paywall. So I've certainly kept busy, and I'll continue to do so. And thank you, man. Thank you for the kind words.
yeah, it's genuine,
Yeah.
you know. Like doing pod. So this is your number 39 for us.
Okay, cool, man.
Yeah, and even though it's spooky related, I've been in the music scene for 15 years, and I've just been around the block for a while, and that's why I've always been very inspired by you and the guys, because you guys have a lot of good taste of music on your videos, and you guys are very skater, very rock and roll. You guys, like one of my favorite stories you have actually is when you insisted that you got to meet Motley Crue.
Right.
That's one of my favorites because I had a similar moment like that. But I love that you love Motley Crue, and I actually don't know like what does Steve-O's playlist look like? Like what's your like hot tunes like for workouts or for anything? Like what?
I mean, I generally keep my entire iTunes library on shuffle, and that just means anything. You never know what's going to come out of my iPod. It's there's a lot of Cirque du Soleil music. Like virtually every soundtrack to a Cirque du Soleil show is in there.
Seems bad.
Plenty of 80s metal. Lots of weird, like kind of mellow, like Thievery Corporation kind of thing. I really like that kind of vibe. There's a bunch of Moby in there. Heavier metal like Deicide, a lot of rock. I mean, it's just all over the place.
Cool.
Great. I think it'd be so rad if you had a special guest in the Cirque du Soleil act, because you're just so like, you do all kinds of cool stuff like that.
Sadly, my friends from Cirque du Soleil told me that the whole company has folded in the pandemic.
Oh no.
Right, but there was the guy who originally started it, the guy who founded Cirque du Soleil, sold it to like corporate entities, and now they've folded, and it sounds like the original guy is going to buy it back.
Oh, cool.
So there's some
still hope.
kind of hope for it, but yeah, for like what just a global phenomenon, with all the residential shows in Vegas, all the traveling shows. Like, I mean, there were so many. It was such a big company.
Yeah.
That it's just crazy, man. This pandemic is absolutely gonna, affect lasting change, and not all good.
Yeah. I think you are definitely inspiring though. Like I said earlier, you're keeping people motivated and entertained, and helping out with this photo here, and just doing what you do. It's giving people a lot. Like when you watch people talk with you on your shows, like you guys are having a great time, and you see like light bulbs light up, like I saw John Jones be like, oh yeah, and like Eric Andre was like, oh yeah, and like you see that. So keep doing what you're doing, man, because even though it's all hell, it's like one big kick to the world's dick.
It really is, man. It's fucking heartbreaking, man, that
totally,
that people can't eat, that all these businesses going under.
Yeah.
Like it's a sad time, man. And yeah, dude, entertainers, all we can do is try to entertain, man, you know, so I'd say, like, let's just keep up what we're doing and, you know, rock and roll, dude.
Hell
Hell
yeah.
yeah.
Absolutely. Can we plug in real quick your photos here and what they're for? Can you tell everybody
Sure,
what
man.
this goes to so everybody knows? Because I think it's really important, and that's the reason
Oh,
why.
yeah, for sure. I mean, speaking of where people can't eat in this pandemic, I recently went on a trip to Albuquerque, New Mexico, where I used to live almost 25 years ago. I moved there. And there's a building where I first did a 3-story front flip into 5 feet of water, which was terrifying back then, and it was terrifying a couple weeks ago when I did it in Albuquerque with John Jones. But we got that cool photo sequence, and I signed every copy, which I've been selling at my website for $25. And 100% of the $25 goes to the Roadrunner Food Bank of New Mexico to feed
awesome.
hungry New Mexicans. And yeah, it's particularly important to me because New Mexico is the number one on the list for children food insecurity. You got the most hungry kids in New Mexico, and you can feed a bunch of them by buying just one of those prints at my website.
Oh, awesome.
Oh yeah, so do it. Help out. Help Steveo.
Yeah, it's a
good
cool
stuff,
ass it's a cool ass thing, man. Hold it up again, dude. Like I'm 6 feet tall and I'm landing in 5 feet of water doing a flip off the. See the way that I hit it perfect, man. If you go straight in, you get in trouble.
That's insane, dude. And you did it 20 years ago too, right? So,
yeah, it was 1996. I did it, and then I went back, and it was every bit as terrifying. It was probably actually scarier this time because
still got it.
Like I didn't need to do it this time, you know. It was like back then it was like, oh, dude, this is my shot. I'm gonna be somebody. Like this wasn't gonna change my life. It was only downside, kind of. You know,
it's impressive, man.
Well, thanks, dude. I like that I'm still able to put that kind of pressure on myself to be so far out of my comfort zone. You know, even when I don't have to be out of my comfort zone. So yeah, it's great.
It's insane, dude. I love that you don't let age and to defy nothing.
It's a race against the clock, man. A race against the clock before it gets creepy to watch me do this dumb shit.
You know, I love, so aside from all the great podcasts that you have, and I love the Eric Andre one, by the way. That was the only one you had where I saw you cringe a couple times. Like you were like, oh, like he was just so over the top, but like really, really great too. Like I loved that one so much. The one with Brett.
Brett Kreischer?
Yeah.
Bert Kreischer. Yeah.
Bert, excuse me, I meant to say Bert. That one was the most educational because you guys talked a lot about the business and like what to actually ask. And before we had you on a few shows back, we had, do you know who Dee Wallace is?
I'm not sure. I don't think so. No.
She's the mom. She was the mom in E.T. She was the mom in Critters.
Okay.
Yeah.
So she was my first like call out. She was like, grow a fucking pair and ask the question. And I was like, oh. So
what was the question?
Well, so it was the first celebrity we had, so I was super nervous, and I kept saying like, if I may, if I may, you know.
Yeah.
And the last time I was just like, can you give us a shout out, you know, if I may ask? And she's like, let me tell you something really important about this industry. And she was super sweet, and she's like a healer, you know, and she was like, grow a fucking pair and just ask the question. And I was like, oh, I loved it though. I was so blessed that she told me that. And then it was shortly after that I watched you and Bert talk about like what do you ask, and then he was talking about how his wife is like, well, what do you want to ask? And he's like, I want to know how much money he makes. So I just loved that you guys, like, that's what I wanted to capture when we were talking here with you, is how you guys have so much good stuff in what you're talking about. It's educational in a lot of areas, and you watch the progress of like when you started to Eric Andre, and you really see how you've progressed. And at one point, people really won't stop wanting you to talk about yourself because they're like, Steve, tell us more. And you're like, I'm trying to talk about you right now. And you're like,
I really was trying with Eric Andre, but I gave myself a pass because there were stories that are not in the public domain, really, at least not out for me. I've never told those stories before, and they're pretty crazy. So
yeah. Hopefully you didn't get in too much trouble.
yeah, I mean, I haven't heard anything about it, and I did run it by a couple people, and they said, "Hey, man, like you were conciliatory. You know, there was remorse. There was like that, like." What do you want? You know, it was factually correct, and I acknowledged that. That it's easy to see how my actions were taken as disrespectful. Yeah.
Sure.
Cool, man. Well, hey, I just saw a text coming in, and I've got to.
Oh, yeah, man.
I've got to crank out a couple things for my podcast tomorrow. It's with Tom Segura, and
question of mine. I was going to ask who was next. So
yeah, it looks like we got Tom Segura. Well, of course we have Tom Segura. We already recorded it. Right. Then next we record with Sharon Osbourne. I'm really excited about that.
Yes, that's rad,
yeah.
Man.
And cool. I won't give away any other ones. But yeah, I'm motivated to keep big names coming in. And yeah, dude, it's been a pleasure, you guys. Thank you for your support, and yeah, man, good luck with everything you do.
Yeah, make sure you guys watch Steveo and his podcast. They're incredible. Make sure you check out his hot sauce and his book. Buy his clip there to support, help out, and most importantly, he's got a lot of golden stuff out there. He's on a show with Ramsey. Gordon Ramsay was really good. He's out there with hot ones. He's all over some great stuff. So make sure you go out there and support Steveo, who's doing great stuff. And we're all very humbled, Steveo. Thank you, man, for your heart.
Yeah, man. My pleasure, dude. Thank you, guys.
Yeah, man.
All right. Hell yeah. Take care.
Take care.
Peace.
Oh, wait. Before you go, Steveo.
Yeah.
Are you cool with giving us a quick shout out?
Yeah, of course, man. Deadman's Radio. Do you want the FM numbers?
You can just say, I'm Steveo and you're listening to Deadman Radio. But that'd be cool.
All right. Yeah, dude, I'm Steveo and you're listening to Deadman Radio. Yeah.
Deadman Radio.
It's like sex for my ears.